Good morning. Today is the 4th of June 2024 and I'm going to go through my trading levels for today. Before we start, let's see what news could be moving the market. And we didn't have anything at 8:30, but we have factory orders and jobs opening at 10 AM, so keep an eye at 10 AM if you're in a trade. That could move the market. And then nothing else really until after market. So that's it for today. I don't think there's any real news until the end of the week. Wednesday we've got PMI, and then Friday non-farms payroll. Yeah, so nothing really. So just keep an eye on 10 o'clock today. Okay, on my screen is the S&P 500 ES E-mini futures, looking at the 1 hour time frame. Let me just open up my pen, just rebooted. I've made a few, almost the same levels we were watching yesterday, but with a few slight adjustments. In one area I'm watching, we were watching this area yesterday, but I've just brought the level down a bit to match these two pre-market levels here. So I'm watching for a bounce around 52.66, 52.60, and I'll be watching this trend line as well. This is the hourly uptrend line, and we've also got an hourly downtrend line as well. So there are two areas I'm watching for a breakout of. If we come back down to this area, I'll be watching for either a bounce or a breakthrough and a retest short. And we've got a target then at 52.50. Beautiful bounce there yesterday. I didn't take it. I was short yesterday from here down to about here. That's my chunk of the market I took, and I didn't take that trade there. Probably should have done, but so where we are now. So in the pre-market, we consolidated for a bit, and then we come back down, and we've just kind of retesting this area. So I'm watching 52.66 for a bounce, pre-market low. And I'm also looking for the break and retest of the trend line as well. So 52, I've got 52.99, 5300 is a psychological number. We couldn't break it yesterday. We held it on Friday in the pre-market. So they're the two areas I'm watching really today. If we do break above 5300, we've got this overhead zone of support. So we can use that as a initial for the first goal. And the volume declines in that area as well, but we do need to get over this volume and the point of control, which is why we really want to see a break and retest in that area. So watching 5300 down to 53.95 area for the bounce, and I'm looking for the rejection at 52.66 or bounce down area. I'll also consider a rejection up in that area as well. If we sell right off and we get right down to the 52.20, Friday's low, then I'll be watching this area also for a bounce. I will probably try and wait for it to break. Well, I want it to break the trend line coming down, put in a bottom tail candle or reversal candle, and I want it to come back out of that zone as well. Hence why I've got my level at 52.18.25. That's the area I want to see it. I want to go long as we're coming out of the area, not while it's going into that area, because I don't know, there's not much volume to the left, and I don't know whether it's going to keep continuing down. So that's my main levels. Let me just go back into my trades viz, because I always make a note of it. So I'm watching 5300 reject, 53.13 reject yesterday high, so we watch that area for rejection as well. 52.66, 52.60 for bounce. So this area here we talked about. 52.50 for a bounce and 52.18 for a bounce. They're the areas I'm really watching. Keep an eye also on SPX, which I'm going to go to right now. If we're looking for a break and retest long, then we don't want to be going long into this 5300 number. You can see massive volume spike. It's a weekly trend line. You can see it bounced with this yellow line. There's an area consolidation, and we've got the point control running through there as well. So lots of resistance above, and I don't want to be going long on SPX on ES if we haven't quite if we haven't got above that area. Really, if that break does a break and retest as well, that would be a perfect long. Otherwise, you can expect it to reject off of there. And so that's basically the only area I'm watching. I'll probably watch for a bounce down here at 52.20 area as well. Maybe all the way down to yesterday's low, coming off of this 200 moving average at around 52.10. SPY, same as ES really. I'll start from the bottom. If we can get down into this area here, Friday's lows, then I'll be looking for a bounce. If I've got some levels, I'll keep those levels drawn at 520.50 down to 518.50. We're also watching this trend line. We've put in a bottom. We couldn't quite break the trend in the pre-market. What time was that? That was 5 AM. So I'll be watching for a potential bounce off this trend line, or if we do see a bit of, if we do rip up, then we'll look for a break and retest of the trend line as well, long. And then we've got a potential rejection at 528.27. This area here for rejection. If we do get up into that area, yesterday's high, but I'll be watching both a breakout, a break and retest, or a rejection in those areas. And I'll be watching ES mainly, and I'll be watching the order flow, and working out whether we're going to see continuation or whether it's going to be rejection. NQ next. Couldn't really see too many decent levels, but we still at yesterday's levels. So I quite like the rejection up here at 18,785 in that region. 200 moving average, we've got the point of control, big volume area as well. Area of confidence as well, tops of candles, bottoms of candles there, tops over here, tops over there. So I quite like this area, 18,760 to 18,884, the rejection. And potentially the break and retest of pre-market high. It's an area of confidence as well, and there's a bit of volume over here as well. We're coming into the volume shaft right now, so we may even just reject that area. Bounce wise, I like this area, same as ES and SPY. Same plan for that. If it comes in, watch for the breakdown, maybe the volume spike, and then the rejection or the bounce. And then I'd also quite like the bounce at yesterday's low, 18,416, and pre-market low I consider as well, 18,504. If we break down below the low, I may look for a break and retest short as well. That's it. So looking at QQQ, we've got this pattern forming here, this wedge pattern, and it's in a downtrend as well. So potentially, are we looking at a bit of a bear flag, and we're looking for it to break down potentially? Or is this a change of trend? Left shoulder, head, little tiny right shoulder, or maybe that's the right shoulder there. We really want to see follow through and come back and break and retest the shoulder line, which it hasn't done if that's the case. We go to the 4 hour. You could say it's a 4 hour head and shoulders pattern. Daily. It's looking, the dailies, lots of bottom tails as well. Look at that, bottom tail there, bottom tail there. It's looking bullish, but we're not getting the follow through you expect. Low volume as well, but potentially we can see a bit of follow through into all-time highs. It's hard with that big volume spike. It's hard to judge the volume, because it could just be a bit of a pullback, low volume pullback, or this could be a low volume pullback. Both of them are quite low volume. Or it could just be showing we've been in a massive uptrend since October time, November, and we could just be seeing exhaustion up here. We're just going to chop sideways. So let's just get some levels for QQQ. I am, just a full disclosure, I am currently short from that area there. I took a short last week. I think I took a short when it was up here around that area, and I added to it when it came. No, in fact, I took a short when it broke down below there, and I added when it came back up into that area. So my average price is probably around here somewhere. but I'm using SQQQ rather than QQQ, and obviously there's a bit of decay there, so I think this is my break-even area around here potentially at the moment, and it's decaying, so it will get worse. Hopefully, I should have taken something off down there, but I didn't. So I'll keep an eye on today. If we see a break of this structure, then I'll be closing it if it goes above, or I'll be holding it if it breaks down below. So bounce wise, I quite like the bounce at 449, and I like the rejection up here at yesterday's high. We could watch for a break and retest off a pre-market high that would have broken that structure as well. So 453 break and retest long on crude oil next. Talked about this yesterday. Yesterday we were in the pre-market. We were sitting about here, I think, and I said we can watch for the break and retest of this level. I put in that new level, and look at that. It didn't even look back. It just died. The only retest we really got was probably this one down here. It's probably quite extended by then. Let's see what levels we've got on this new move. I like these new moves because it gives us new levels. It gets a bit boring talking about the same levels all the time. So we can watch for, I do quite like this area here. Oh, reason I like it, I'll just go through that. We've got increased volume at that price. So we've got a volume shelf, point of control just above. We've got areas of confidence, just where I'm marking up tops and bottoms of candles, and I know I'm drawing a line, but we can probably say an area of confidence would be more like that. So we can watch $75 for the retest. If it comes back up into the 75, I've got a level at 74.54, but $75 we can watch it for a retest back down. And that's an area of confidence as well. We've got that area. If we get back up into where this point of control is, this orange line, red line, pivots down here as well, we can watch that area there for rejection. So 76.11 to 77 for rejection. So two decent rejections there. So I do quite like these areas, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. I'm going to put my alert in as well. Let's do that now. So my first alert, 74.40. My next alert just after we get over all-time yesterday's high. So I'll keep an eye on that. I quite like that play. Bounce wise, there's no bounce really till we get down to this area. So we can watch this area here. I'm going to draw a not quite what I want, but that's the general area I'm looking at. That area there takes in the tops of that, the bottoms of those candles, and that candle there, and then we saw a big reaction from that area. So we zoom out, we've got a bit of an area we can watch for a bounce. I can't see anything in the meantime. You've got a few pivots in this area, maybe a little bit of area of confidence and some volume, but that's the main area we want to watch. So let's just draw in another level. See, there's quite a few levels. It's about trying to find that one there. So keep an eye on that area there. Where's that? Oh, we've got a target of 71, basically $72, 71.94. We watch that area for potential bounce. And volume-wise, there's a bit of volume in that area as well. So there's a bit of a volume shelf coming into that area. So that's why I like that for the bounce as well. Okay, that's crude oil. Gold next. No, nothing really. We've got to get out of this range. You could say we've got an inverse head and shoulders with the right shoulder now forming. The neckline happens to be the area we want to break out of. So if we break above 23.76, we can look for longs. I favour the break and retest long. Bit of overhead resistance there, but we're above the 200, and if we're above the 200 on the hourly, that gives us institutional support. And while we're below it, excuse me, they're not looking to go long. So bounce wise, same areas as before. Quite like 23, 36 to 43, this area here for a bounce. And if we do break down, we can look for the break and retest short, and we've got a couple of targets we can watch for. So that's gold, RTY, which is the Russell 2000. Okay, so we drew in these trend lines, show you the different channels or the zones where it's been flipping. So we were currently holding it there, then we broke it, flipped it, broke it, flipped it. We didn't know that's a channel until later. Bottom, top, bottom, near the top, come back down, created, look at that, off the channel, back down to the bottom, that created that bottom channel. Now we hovered along the middle one, touched it, back up, broke out, came back down. I would have expected a retest, but it didn't. So showing a bit of weakness. If you can see what I'm looking at there, head and shoulders pattern, neckline is exactly where we are right now. Look at that, break, retest. So potentially higher risk short at the yesterday's low where we are now, under all the moving averages as well. Target can be this trend line, but I've got an alert set up at 2030. What's that for? Okay, yeah, we've got area of confidence as well, and a bit of a volume shelf area as well. So 2030, we can use that as a first target, and then we use the trend line, second target. And that's the only play I like really. It's high risk, I know. If we can get over pre-market high and we can close above this trend line, then we can watch for a break and retest long. And last time we saw that, we had this nice move up. Didn't get much of a retest though. And that's really all I can watch really on RTY. I'll take a look at that in a second. Dow Jones. We've got a new bounce area down here, so let's add a level in. Obviously recent pivots take precedence over old pivots. Not much of an area of confidence, I suppose. We've got a bit of volume coming in, a volume shelf. We've got a little bit of a couple of pivots in those areas as well. So we can watch 38, 139 for a bounce, this area here. Or if we break over the because we could be setting up a new change of trend, put a new uptrend, pull back, and then if we can break over pre-market high, which is that level there, and it's 38,691, we can look for break and retest long. And we've got the target above, which is 39,000, which we can either look to take profit if we're long, or we can look to find a breakout, break and retest in that area as well. Let's bring that down a bit. There's not much more on that one, I'm afraid. Rejection wise, you could watch that area for rejection as well, 39,000. Let's look at Bitcoin. We're almost done. And I prefer it in the daily. So we're still watching this inverse head and shoulders. Just let my pen. Come on. Oh, it's crashed. I use Epic Pen. And sometimes you just use it just crashes and freezes, so you can't use it. That's fine. Okay, we've got this inverse head and shoulders pattern. Neckline is this area of confluence. So we broke it, retested it. Looked like it wanted to break out. We had volume coming in down here as well. Came back and we've just gone sideways since. Put in a few topping tails. A little bit of volume on the topping tails, a bit of volume on the topping tail again. Potentially showing maybe there's a top, if I see a topping tail at the top of a range, then that looks like weakness. So if we break over, we've got to get over 71, 72,000 before we to consider a new breakout or a new all-time high. Otherwise we can watch bounces around at the 59, 58, 900 area where we've got our levels. Maybe a little bit higher up, probably around about that area. And obviously we're above the 200, so we really want to come back down to the 200 at some point. The last time it was back at the 200s, back in August, almost a year ago. And you can see we broke through, tested it a few times before breaking out, but we've yet to come back down to the 200 moving average. So we may have a bit of downside ahead. Okay, let's look at ES, see if it's moved much. I don't know if anyone's noticed anything in the last hour or so, but SPY, ES, all the charts seem to be frozen, no data coming through. I thought it was my trading view at first, but it was doing it on all the charts. And I had a quick look online, I think the swing was affected as well. So maybe, and I had my Apex account open, and I could see data coming in, but it just seemed really slow. But anyway, levels again. You see we've got an inside day today. Are we looking at a bit of a bear flag, pull back, bit of a reversal, bear flag, maybe break down again? I'm not sure. But just recap the levels. I'm watching for the rejection up in this region, 53.10 to 53.20. Point of controls up there as well, natural resistance. Look for the break and retest of this trend line, the hourly trend line, preferably over the pre-market high and the 200 moving average. So really watching 5300, break and retest, but only if we are above the SPX 5300. So we've got to be breaking above 5300 on APX, on SPX, that area there, because there's a lot of resistance. We've got the point of control above as well, so we want to be in line with what SPX is doing. Then I'm looking for the break and reject of the downward trend line once the screen's updated. So this, I'm in the upward trend line, this one here, and that'll be 52.66 area. And I'm obviously watching 52.50 for the bounce, and then we've got this big bounce over down here. And if it gets into this lower zone, I don't want to take it in this zone. I really want to watch it come out of that zone. Just because if you go left and look below, there's a big void below, not much volume. You see the volume drops off as well, and I don't want to be caught in a short below that area in case it does just decide to plummet. That's it. Market opens in 7 minutes. On my other screen, which is on my other stream, I've got my